19. Discernment. Compulsive yearning for the Buddha Dhamma, through the mind tricks of the vainglorious imagination, will only entrap you in the unruly maze of spectral impressions. Thus, the Dhammapada is mired in the quicksand of phenomena. The quiescent mind transcends the confused state of rightness or wrongness, as the unborn unfolds of its own accord, with no thing arising nor cessating. The white-bearded hermit descends from his mountain solitude in hopes of expounding the sagacity of the ages, yet true prana is not transmitted under any exotic form of cloaked expediency, masquerading as a divine channel of truth. The Dharma is never conveyed through the urgent ranting of some self-proclaimed messiah, as its efficacious nature blossoms neither here nor there, but everywhere for those who behold it with imageless eyes. A bald-headed ascetic does not a master make, as one sits feeble-mindedly on the rump of deep-seated attachment. When all seeking is silenced, the unending diurnal rain of defiled aggregated existence is hence stilled. Silence alone will not awaken the dormant Gotra, nor will incessant erudite determination or penetrating the depths of samadhi through the fourfold dhyana spark the flame of eternal vidya. Determined vigilance in the way of deathlessness will assure the noble self-realization that nothing is seen, but of the mind itself. 20. The Bifrost. The way that the Aryan mind recollects liberation is tenfold. There are four noble truths. Detachment from clinging and aversion awakens the dragon eye of Tathagata. There is no sanctuary other than that supreme deathless eye, whose steadfast focus penetrates the all-knowing nature of the unborn word, wherein the devious designs of Mara are rendered inconsequential. Faith and ardent fidelity in divine logos, accompanied with diligent sutra study and disciplined dhyana, are prerequisites for clear sailing through the churning samsaric sea, a foundation from which Bodhi power is released, thus nourishing the Dharma child's appetite for the full flavor of Tathagatahood. The shimmering rainbow bridge named Bifrost extends between the created heaven and earth. As gods and giants and hungry ghosts and sundry sentient beings cross to and fro, as they participate in the great drama called Decay. At the end of this kalpa, the Bifrost will collapse again, as it has always done, again and again, down into the icy vortex stew, before it's stirred and conjured up by a mind that once again becomes enraptured with its own colorful creative prowess. Hence, the origin of outflow, perpetual regenesis. Crush the ice, break the link, that synthetic nexus of weary rebecoming, turning instead to the one useful word that brings peace, as taught by the Tathagatas. Awake, O sleeper, arise from the dead, as the light of the unborn shines upon you. Uncreate your mesmerized fancies, recollecting that deathless star, drawing you beyond the limits which this Saha world imposes, to the very heart of spirit's suchness, in the realm of Dhammapada too. Whether you are in movement or are placidly still, it is always here. Slay the demon mind, harbinger of scandic contamination, itself, not just individual thoughts. In failing to decapitate this demon's head, you will continue to remain bound to desire, as a man is bound to a woman's supple breasts. The only resolution you need to make is to remain true to yourself. In this way all manner of attachment is relinquished. The awakened Buddha mind radiates sweet peacefulness in the awareness that all former searching for the element of truth has been in vain. All complacent clinging to one's precious family ties will be rewarded at the end of this vain and delusive security with a visit from Yama and his winged messengers of death, as one will be carried kicking and screaming away, as the wild and forlorn weeping of one's heirs fill the lonely and despondent night air. Stop. Reflect. Turn about. Recollect. Nothing binds you. You are a child of the unborn, as the freedom of the other shore is at hand. 21. The Shadow Slayer. The chameleon mind relishes in its ability to create the magically changing shapes of the Maya city of the Gandharvas, whose colorful characters partake in orgiastic frenzy the pleasures of phenomena. Why expand upon delinquent patterns of defiled garba that deprives your true self its rightful inheritance? Awake from this hallucinatory bad trip, becoming vigilantly mindful like the Black Dragon Masters, whose boundless buddhi breaks the spell of aggregated existence. Slaying the five immediacies, mother, father, arhats, disturbing the peace of the brotherhood, making the Buddha bleed with an evil motive, as well as the breaking up of the brotherhood. The slaying of the five skandhas itself will awaken the dormant Dharma mind that is the true shadow slayer of all inadequate and anthropocentric effigies that hinder the Dharma child from full self-realization of Tathagatahood. Joined in esoteric sodality of unborn light, through demystifying the somnambulistic nature of all Rupakaya, those noble shining ones practice unassailable mystigaji in unexcelled dhyana. No longer being in or out of this Saha reality, those valiant light warriors, bodhisattvas, pierce the darkness of the weary wanderers, who are doomed to suffer the ignoble fate of endless transmigration, leading them away from the pitfalls of this Dharma-ending age, thus delivering them from Mara, the evil one. Bearing the shield of faith and logos, being armed with firm technique in the antecedent recollective resolve, those resilient residents of illumined Vidya are forever perched atop the Olympian mount of primordial perfection, where the surveillant dragon eye alone surmounts the creeping forest of desire. 22. Darkness. Wearing the yellow robe of the Arahant does not absolve one from irresponsible behavior, as the inevitable pit of darkness awaits those whose offense against the Dharmatic light ignites the volatile action of endless transmigratory dukkha. Mind's adulterous affair with its own pluralized outflows is like making love to another man's wife. As the source is shunned for temporal and inadequate gratification, the consequences of this fleeting fling with sensual unwholesomeness are a sure descent into dark and heavy scandic incarceration. Once caught in the nightmare web of densely composed and circumstantial consciousness, realization is lost that these constructs are merely adventitious and are not innate in structure. Hence, the slightest movement created by the dreaming dungeon mind creates seclusion from salvific unborn light. Asceticism alone will not break the chains of this self-induced agony, as it only stirs up the dubious dust of mindless and morbid introspection. Even entertaining one momentary thought alerts Cerberus, the three-headed dog who guards the gates of hell, whose ravenous teeth tear asunder any feeble attempts to escape from the conditioned cavity of darkest dukkha. Mind fears no evil but its own carelessly created obstructions that prevent the return to Buddha-Thata. Look beyond what is and what is not, and through right effort shatter the illusional and habitual hocus-pocus that clings to the darkness of unwholesome regeneration. 23. Fortitude. The untamed elephant called Dhanapalaka careens wildly when remembering the sacred grove from which it originated. In like manner, does the heavy-laden mind swelter in the heat of abstracting outflows, originating from untamed memories that run amok in the fever of Vijnanic frenzy. Emerging from the murky bog of the alaya Vijnana, the dragon mind recollects its primordial prospectus, soaring beyond the tangled jungle of the composed, for the undiscovered country of the unborn. No longer wandering aimlessly about, experiencing endless rebirth through untold kalpas, the former slothful wayfarer awakens to the great Tathatic resolution that precludes any karmic predisposition, as it remains steadfast in the uncreated sphere of suchness. Any further attempt to sail samsaric seas on the ship of fools is an insult to the Dharma. Thus solitary fortitude is the best companion, if like-minded resilient ones are absent. The succulent taste of freedom's sweetness surpasses all binding earthly ties, as the power of Bodhi masterfully curtails any hindrance that seeks to replace rightful affinity with the Dathata family. 24. Yearnings. Fast asleep and dreaming haphazardly in the twilight world, your yearnings will asphyxiate you like the entangling vine of the creeper. The blithe monkey becomes entrapped by the sticky pitch of the hunters, as its paws and feet and mouth become stuck in fivefold fashion, as it writhingly succumbs to its fate. It is the same doom for the meandering monkey mind, as it becomes attached and enslaved to the five skandhas. Once rooted in defiled aggregated existence, the 36 rushing modalities of mortality submerge the essential self. Artemi's arrows will find their mark as the pleasure-bound psyche becomes ensnared in the trap of its own insatiable appetite. Awake, O hollow mind, for what apparently binds you is in itself sunya. Detach from your own hollow addiction. Kick the habitual undercurrent of sensual allures that hound you kalpa after kalpa, lest the incessant and baneful laughter of fellow inmates, imprisoned with scandic shackles, forestalls your emancipation from dukkha. Arise, O desirous helot! Take flight before the spider's sting renders you bodiless on the web of corrupted decomposition. Hearken. There is no yesterday or tomorrow or the present moment, only the unborn mind that is adorned with deathlessness. Stop and deliberate. Be determined in the recollective resolve that is antecedent to all disquietude of mind. Your cyclic journey has ended, as this is your last incarnation, as you have found solace in the one exclusive word that assures release from the dreamy masturbatory mind. Being bestowed with the element of truth is the ultimate ecstasy as well as dukkha's demise. Forsake foolhardy ways, vomit forth the defiled weeds of passion-bound associations. Join the noble, arhat shining ones, who beckon you to the ever-present shore of suchness.